계속해서 발제 들으시겠습니다. 다음 순서는 태국 타임 컨설팅의 짝그릿 쌍끼띠원 파트너님께서 아세안 방송 콘텐츠 시장 및 공동제작 현황과 전망에 대해 발표 진행해 주시겠습니다. 큰 박수로 맞아주시기 바랍니다.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, please let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Jacket Sangitiwan. Now I'm a partner at Time Consulting. So we are actually the consulting firm advising the regulator and the broadcaster in Thailand regarding the media and televisions. So particularly we are advising the NBTC, the regulator is very similar to the KCC here in Korea on the co-production project. So we have been trying to set up the co-production agreement between Thailand and Korea quite several times, but again, you know, there's still some complications. It's a very good thing that we have seen the success story from many countries, like in Vietnam, for example, that Korea has just signed the agreement, the MOU with Vietnam. And we hope to get that pretty soon in Thailand too. So then we have to really continue our effort and attempts to really try to make the co-production agreements. But by the way, today I'm going to speak a little bit more. Right. I'm going to speak a little bit more about the status and prospect of ASEAN regarding the broadcast content market and the co-production and cooperation opportunities. So you know already that ASEAN is the big market, and particularly for Korea, as the Korean contents can be accepted very well in ASEAN countries, particularly in the big countries ASEAN like Thailand or Vietnam, Indonesia. So we have a lot of Korean businesses, not particularly in the broadcasting and content, but also in some other businesses as well in those countries. And those could help stimulating the business of the Korean companies quite a lot. And particularly if you look at the TV content market, we have a very high penetration rate of the internet usage and also the viewing time of the video content. So in Thailand, for example, we have around almost 4 hours spent on the TV viewing per day. And for the internet penetrations, we have almost 80-90% of the internet user penetrated in Thailand. So if you look at the profiles of Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, you can see a lot of high usage or high demands for viewing the video content. But I'm speaking today in my session a little bit on not only the content production perspective, but also on the business side. It means that once you're gonna set up the co-production opportunities or co-production projects, first of all, you need to really understand the culture, the content in terms of the business. Second, then you need to really think about how to really make the scale in the countries, in the ASEAN as a whole, because nowadays, as you know, that we are facing difficulties on the business from the giant tech firm. In ASEAN as well, we have the Facebook, YouTube, and then also the regional OTT operators to really competing with the broadcaster in the countries. Then, of course, we are talking about content is the king. And if we really create the content that can really attract people to really watch more or really spend more time on the video, then we can really sustain the business in the future. So there's some attempts regarding the content collaborations, I would say this way. Yeah. Recently in Thailand, where we hosted the ASEAN conference, so you can see this in these pictures, then we have established the framework for co-production in the audio visuals among the ASEAN countries. So this is the very first time in ASEAN that we can really join hands together to really collaborate together with the aim to really exchange the content, not only co-production itself, but also to exchange the content to make the ASEAN very harmonized. So, and then we can really trade, we can really do more businesses together in the ASEAN regions. The framework for co-production in particular, in the audio-visual sector for ASEANs, would focus on the delivery of ASEAN contents across the ICT channels, meaning that we are not talking only about the traditional means of the content deliveries, which is, for example, the free TV, the pay TV, but we also talk about the other means, like over the internet itself, or the OTT. Yeah? So that's a new channel of the content delivery method, which is very popular in ASEAN countries. Then we talk about the business matching opportunities. Of course, there are quite many number of production companies in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and many of them have a very high quality of the productions, can be really make the productions inside the country and then outside the countries abroad. So we're gonna see, we're gonna encourage more and more capability on the content productions. So if you look at the situation in the ASEAN country right now, we hardly see the joint production or the joint project between the ASEAN countries. But of course, we have seen, like the example in the previous presentation, that we have the co-production between Vietnam and then Korea, maybe Thailand and Japan. So, so those kind of things we want to really see more and more, of course. But within the ASEAN itself, we want to see more as well. Because now, when we talk about the co-production, you can notice that we have two parties. One is developed countries and the one is the developing countries. So in terms of the strategy point of view of the government itself, we want to encourage more on this model, and then also on the developing country and the developing country model, or even more than two parties or more than two countries to make the content itself more valuable in terms of the contributions from various parties. Number 3 is about the facilitation of the co-productions. So, of course, to create a co-production project is not really easy at all. Then you have experience more than us, then you know that there's quite a lot of things to be overcome, and in order to really achieve a co-production project itself, particularly for the co-production project which is related to the commercial perspectives. And the last one is the exchange of the media professionals. Of course, we are talking about the knowledge transfer. We are talking about the exchange of the subject matter expert to really enhance the qualities of the content productions. So that's the initiations within the ASEAN that we have just started. Of course, we aim at the cooperations between ASEAN itself and then also some other countries. We have initiated the cooperation between the ASEAN and China because, as you can imagine, that many of the Chinese contents are now broadcasted quite in many countries and in ASEANs, like in Korea as well. So we want to see this picture as well for the Korea. Look at some ASEAN countries in particular. So in Singapore, for example, In Korea, you have Busan content market. You have the content exchange activity in Seoul. In some other countries, you also have quite a number of activities that content producer, broadcaster, or everyone in the industry can really, come together and meet and then try to make the new business opportunities. In ASEAN right now, we don't have many. Of course, we have one event called the ASEAN TV Forum or the ATF, so organized every year in Singapore. Of course, this is the biggest one that we have arranged in Singapore, and there are quite a number of buyers, number of content producers, and a lot of TV contents exchange during the event. In Thailand, we have an initiative to create a kind of the content market as well. So I like the presentation in the first presentation saying that the lesson learned, how they get to Vietnam, because I questioned myself as well that, okay, Vietnam is a very challenging market. If you don't know the local people, then it would be very, very difficult. And I questioned myself that how you really get to the Vietnamese markets. And of course, the content markets is one of the two that you can really come and meet and make friends with people, with the potential producers, or do furthermore business on the content. So all in all, then this is the one in Singapore, and we hope to create more and more in some other ASEAN countries, like in Thailand. Well, look at Singapore. Singapore has done a co-production treaty between, this is just one example, Singapore and New Zealand, to really create the content co-productions. So this is one of the example called the Crazy Rich Asians. So created in 2018. Of course, this kind of co-production project from the government point of view. So we want to really enhance more cultural exchange. We really want to enhance more about the market or the business. So in Singapore, the IMDA, which is the regulator, similar, comparable to KCC in Korea, and together with the SFC, the Singapore Film Commissions, has done a kind of the support or the initiatives, like for example, the financial grants for the co-production project. In Malaysia, you can find a very similar thing as well. In Malaysia, it offers in the film in Malaysia initiatives. So with this, when you film the TV content or the content in Malaysia, you have some benefits and incentives. And this is just one of the example of the co-production treaty between the Malaysia and Australia. In Indonesia, this is a very big market. I just show you some figures about the Indonesian markets because it's quite away a little bit from here. And then you can really see the huge number of households in Indonesia, and then also the increasing uptake of the OTT platforms in Indonesia. But you can see that the proportions of the TV household is still in the analog TV. Within the future, of course, they will migrate it into the digital terrestrial TV. So, but Indonesia market is a very big one. And if you, for example, look at the sizing of the broadcasting market, or in terms of the ad spending market, then you can see that the majority is the TV advertising spend. So I'm speaking in form of the business perspective, meaning that when you want to start the co-production project, of course there are two things. One thing is about the good content that you really have to create, and the other thing is how to really make it monetized and sustained. In many of the ASEAN countries, then contents are quite widespread among different platforms, and we are more adopted on the advertising-based models rather than the subscriptions. Then this is a very challenging for the premium content that really how to monetize the premium content when you create it and how to really make it sustained to make, for example, episode 1, season 1, season 2, and season 3. So this is a very challenging. Then that's the prospect of some other ASEAN market that might be interesting. Well, from my point of view, because those are a big market and the mature markets. But let's have a look into more detail about the Thai market itself. So I think that Thailand and Korea have been together in terms of the TV content and entertainment quite a number of years already, and it seems that we work together quite well. So this is you can see the proof of, for example, Blackpink or the 2 p.m. So Lisa, now she is the most popular woman in not only in Thailand but also worldwide. Meaning that we want to really create another Blackpink, but maybe not only in the music business, but also on the film, on the TV business as well. So I see a very good combination between Thailand and Korea. Artists, for example, maybe the productions, and also the business too as well. This is the comprehensive outlook of the Thai broadcasting ecosystem. So we have, of course, numerous content producers, but to be honest, maybe around 20 to 30 content producers are at the quality that we can really make it scale, meaning that we can really make it not only in Thailand but in ASEAN and also in some other markets that we can really make the high quality productions. There's so many companies you might have heard, for example, the GDH, so it's not in the logo here, or the BEC, for example. And those are very high potential Thai content producers. We have the media agencies. We have the broadcasters in the free TV channels, like the Channel 3, Workpoint, GMM. So, maybe many of them you haven't heard before, but those are all the free TV channels that we have in Thailand. And many of them are looking for content partnerships, of course, because if you look at the free TV market landscape here, you can see that we have many channels in Thailand. So too many channels in Thailand, and then they are trying to really compete hard together and trying to really find the attractive content to be broadcasted on their various platforms. So we have the disruptors, like from the OTT, we have the network providers. So those kind of things is the market in Thailand as a whole. And if you look at some statistics, we have very high penetration rates of the televisions. The free TV coverage is quite high in Thailand, around 98%. And then we have the internet coverage. We have For example, the high usage or the frequency of the internet use. And if you look at the figure there, then this is the number of the time spent with the media, with the TV, with the music, with the social media together on the internet. So I show all those statistics because this is the modern way of the content consumptions. It's not only TV, but also all the platforms and all kinds of the methods, meaning that it could be live, it could be the video on demands, it could be subscriptions, it could be advertising based as well. So, and if you are looking for making a project in Thailand, then you have to understand this figure. This is more about the advertising market or the sizing of the advertising market now in Thailand. So if you look at the TV advertising market, this is quite, so-so, not growing that much. Is sometimes some years there's increasing, but some years are decreasing. So, but I would say this is so-so right now on the TV advertising. But on the digital advertising, of course, with the higher penetration of the internet, with the higher adoption of the OTT, then the market itself is growing quite high. So we have the compound annual growth rate of 25% from 2014 to 2018. And if you look inside this right now, the company that capture a lot of the advertising spend is actually YouTube in Thailand. So, well, when you look at the initiatives from the Thai content broadcaster or the producers, we have some initiatives about, for example, the content licensing. This is the same way as Korea has done quite many years ago when you license the content to the other countries. In Thailand, we are catching up the developed country like Korea as well, that we also do license the content. So, and the market for the Thai content is huge, not only in the ASEAN countries where the Thai contents are accepted very well, in, for example, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, but outside the ASEAN countries, like in China too. So I show you some example here, but there are many more about the content licensing that Thai broadcaster are doing it right now. And not only this, we do a kind of the multi-platform commerce. So that's another dimensions of how to really bundle the commerce into the content itself. There are many channels, for example, the TV shopping channels that joint force between the Thai companies and, for example, the Korean company, like this, like the CJ Old Shopping. That's another one which is very popular in Thailand as well. So, also, when we have the content, then we want to really broadcast and make it widespread to all the viewers. And one of the methods is to make it not only on the small screen like mobile or the big screen like the TV, but the giant screens like the billboard, or you call it the out-of-home media. Then that would be the next major development that we want to really broadcast some content there too. But of course, this will come with the technological developments in the near future. So this is another example of the partnership between Live TV and the broadcaster, because we also need to broadcast the content everywhere in every platform to increase the viewers. So in terms of the co-productions, actually we have quite a number of co-production projects in the past 20, 30 years. So starting from 1990, that's quite a long time ago that we have done co-production projects with the NHK in Japan, and then also with the TVB in Hong Kong. So during the period of the 2004, 2003, so we consume in Thailand quite a lot of series from Hong Kong. But nowadays, of course, starting like, for example, 2010 onward, then contents from Korea is very popular. Well, we have 2015, for example, the project between the Channel 7 and the KBS in Korea to do a kind of, the Dream Team Thailand. This is more like a game show that you bring the actors and actresses from both countries and then playing the game show together. In 2019, then, we have seen quite a number of co-production projects, not really between the broadcaster between two countries, but the broadcaster and the platform provider, like Netflix, for example. As you may know, that the platform provider like Netflix, iFlix, or Line, then when they do business in the countries, they also like to do their own original content as part of their strategy of the business model. Then we can really see somehow we can call the co-productions effort regarding the platform and also the content producers. So nowadays, Thai content is consumed by many countries. In Myanmar, of course, in Laos, of course. So because those countries are very close in terms of the culture, but in Cambodia as well, and then also in Indonesia. So we have seen quite many popular contents abroad in those countries. And I give you one example. This is more on the like the themes. It's called the Friend Zones, which is a theme this year. Then this is a spatial project that we have done across the ASEAN countries. So this movie is filmed in 4 locations in ASEAN, and we use the actors from 9 ASEAN countries on this, but the lead would be the Thai, like the smart lady and gentleman there. So this is very successful and they're very popular among Thai and the ASEAN people. Another example, this is another movie called The Bad Genius, and this is one of the highest money-making movie in Thailand because it could get 30 million US dollar within the 9 days of when the movie is in the theater, and very popular amongst the Chinese people, and the consequence of these movies brought quite a number of Thai actors and actresses in China market. So then my last presentations slides. I just want to say a little bit about the support from the Thai government in terms of the co-productions. We have quite a number of support from many government agencies like Ministry of Culture or the media funds that can really grant the fundings for the co-production project. And then also the NBTC or the BOI, for example. So there's more detail about that, of course, but I just want to show you, and then you have the overview. So just to conclude my presentation, I just want to say that ASEAN has very big opportunities. So we are a big market, and we are coordinating among ourselves on one hand, but on the other hand, we open for the cooperations with the other countries, with Korea, for example. There are many opportunities in the market like Indonesia, Vietnam, and particularly Thailand. And if you make very good cultural content, we do have support from the government. If you make the commercial content, so we have ecosystem to support your business. Thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다. 태국의 콘텐츠 시장의 현황에 대해서도 소개를 해주셨고 앞으로 공동 제작 전망에 대해서도 발표를 진행해 주셨습니다.